You need to care, you need to think, you need to decide before you step into your classroom. So every teacher knows that how to design a lesson plan. Just I'll be sharing some tips with you all today so that you can make it better. So what is a lesson plan? A lesson plan is basically a blueprint of what we are going to do while teaching in class. That is what you are allotted, 5 to 6 period every day, and then that period is of 40 minutes, right? And that 40 minutes, how to utilize each and every moment of it, this particular session will help you out from next time, so that not a single moment is wasted and you can, make it useful. So for that, we need to follow PDCA. So this is the term that I have just gone through, and it. I got it from CBSE manual and the upcoming, the changes that is going to come through NEP. So PDCA means planning, doing, checking, and acting. So lesson plan comes under planning, and then after that it is doing, when we execute our plan, then checking in the form of assessment, and then act means after assessing, after the assessment done, you analyze and you reframe it, replan it. That is what you call act. Well, why is a lesson plan important? Because it provides a coherent framework for smooth, efficient teaching. It helps the teacher to be more organized. As Sir said just now, that we need to be well organized before we enter our classrooms. It gives a sense of direction in relation to the syllabus. Means you need to, design the lesson plan according to the syllabus as per the need. It helps the teacher to plan lessons that cater to different students. You have a class consisting 50 students or 40 students or 50 students or sometimes more than that. And then the class is of different students. That means if you have heard the term, that is multiple intelligence. So students with multiple intelligence. Now how to deal with them? And how can you cater to different students, their need? How are you going to meet your objectives to make your teaching effective? It helps the teacher to be more confident while delivering the lessons, because you see, whenever you are preparing something and then you get into it, of course the outcome is better. If you are not well organized and you simply go and ask the students to take out your book and then so and so page number and then you start, there is no connection between learning and teaching. So to make learning and teaching successful, it is important that you are well prepared. So that brings confidence in you when you are delivering a lesson, because you already know what am I going to teach today. Now the key elements to be considered while preparing a lesson plan. Sometimes it is a fact that sometimes because of the stressful life or because of overburden or whatever, we sometimes do our duty. We take it as duty. Okay, I've been asked to prepare a lesson plan. So whatever I do it without thinking it, without analyzing or without demonstrating. So that is not fair. That is not fair, because somehow we are doing injustice with our learners. And then what are we for? Our job is the most noble one. So keeping into consideration, we need to design it as per the needs of our learners. So we should have these questions in our mind, which I have here displayed. Who are the target groups? Whom am I going to address? Who am I going to teach? What is the context of learning? What should be the learning objective of the lesson? Two things are very important while designing a lesson plan. That is learning objective and learning outcomes. If you do not have objective of what you are going to teach, then it's sheer waste and nothing. And if you do not derive any learning outcome, that what am I going to teach and what they are going to get, then again it is all in vain. Then the resources and material required, since we are, you see, we can today, as we are performing here on this platform, and we see the everyday changes in the technology and the hybrid learning system right now. So it is a challenge for us that what resources are we are going to pick, what we are going to use that will be beneficial for our children, for our learners. So the material required, what are the things, what are the tools and the techniques that we are going to adopt so that we can make our teaching more effective. What other parts of the curriculum can it integrate as per as NEP? We all know that we are going to face a lot of challenges in the upcoming years, that is right from 2022. So there are several areas that we need to cover. It's not only now teaching that we used to practice earlier in the traditional method. So before that, you see, Gurukul system had its own system, and then traditional method, and now hybrid learning. So according to that, we'll have to pace and we'll have to change ourselves. We'll have to unlearn and then we'll have to learn. So what other parts of the curriculum can it integrate? That means if we are dealing with the multiple intelligence students, then what are we going to do? Nowadays, inclusive has become so important, inclusive education. So how am I going to design my lesson that even those children get benefit from it? Then there are other areas like art integrated projects. How am I going to put up there, in the lesson plan, incorporate it and then, make it success. Then there are portfolios, and then there are experiential learning. So these things, we'll have to keep it in our mind while designing a lesson plan from the next time. Then time is very important factor. So what time I am allotting for the particular things. If I've designed an activity, how much time should I take? So everything should be time bound. Time required is very important. Then educational strategies to be adopted. Learning activities and tools to be used. As if you have gone through the CBSE manuals and experiential learning, you might have read about that Parpar Kumar and Karkar Kumari. So what is the difference between Parpar Kumar and Karkar Kumari? That is learning by doing, isn't it? Learning by doing. So to make it successful, again, you need to design those activities as per. And then assessment strategies, that is the last. Again, you see, I have organized and reordered it as I have introduced lesson planners to be, designed, keeping in mind PDCA, that is again planning, doing, and checking, and acting. So checking, assessment strategies are all about checking. Now, the question arises that how are we going to integrate these things together? Oh my God. Already I'm facing a lot of challenges, and I have to correct the copies and 50 students, and I'll have to keep them in my mind. So how am I going to, these are the extra things and extra burden. How am I going to balance it? So you will have to be extra, efficient for that. Design